get ready with me to go to a Christmas party. I'm super pumped because it's going to be girls' night. So as I get ready for this Christmas party, I'm going to first do my hair. No, I'm going to do my makeup. Generally, I'm not sure. I'm a noob at this, so I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do my hair first. Let's do hair last because I feel like putting makeup might make me sweat again. So let's do hair first. No, makeup. Anyways, so while I get ready, I also wanted to talk to you about how, I don't know if you've heard that um, proverb of it takes a village to raise kids, and it's true. And I completely agree. I come from a country or a culture that believes so much in community and, raises kids together, I guess. And like my only caveat to that is that yes, it takes a village, but not every village is your village. What does that mean? That means you will need to be, yes, your village could be your God-given family, which is awesome. And in that instance, you need to be open and you need to be communicating with your village as to what it is that you're planning with your children. Like what kind of parenting are you going to be doing? Are you going to be, like what are the things that you want to instill in your kids? We're going to use hands today, okay? What are you instilling in your kids? What is it that you want the main focus to be as you raise your kids? What are your do's and don'ts? What are your negotiables, non-negotiables, and things like that? So first step is really identifying your village. If you are not surrounded by family, like for the first few years, my husband and I were in a city where we didn't have any family, but now we're very fortunate enough to have family close by. And so we're very thankful to have them. In the same token, we are very, very, we're learning to communicate properly with our family. What does that mean? So, we're learning what it looks like to have negotiables and non-negotiables. What are some non-negotiables for our family? Putting Christ first is non-negotiable. So we are a Christian family, so Christ is, and we try, and we're growing obviously to make Christ the center of everything that we do. Um, Negotiables could look like normally we don't let our girl watch too much TV. Saturdays, she gets a couple of hours on Saturdays, and sometimes it's longer than a couple of hours. That's kind of borderline between negotiable and non-negotiable, but essentially we do not let her watch TV throughout the week. And in some instances, that could be a negotiable because if, for example, my husband and I need to be somewhere and we have a meeting that, like, kids cannot be part of, then when her aunt or uncle is watching her, we can let her watch TV. Does that kind of make sense? So those are some negotiables. Like where, like my son is not going to have any sugar or salt or spices or seasoning or whatever until he's at least over a year old, and that's a non-negotiable for us. And even when he's a year old, like he, I think I over applied. Yeah, it won't be like I don't want them to be these kids that grow up and get sugar crazy, but I also don't want them to think like sugar is so special that that's a thing to look forward to, and I also don't want them to be eating it all the time. So, constantly finding that balance. So kind of being able to communicate these things with your village. And then what if you don't have your family around? Then you get to have chosen family if you choose this. When you do pick your chosen family, it's best that you look out for things that you align with. So how do you check if your family aligns with your chosen tribe's values? So You pick your things that are, again, not just non-negotiables and negotiables, but what is your family's priority, like outside of faith? What is it that you're wanting to pursue as a family? So for our family, had we not had our family close by, we also have church family, that our goals closely align with each other. The way we parent closely aligns with each other. What we find even in Christendom, like there's things that are like, it's a spectrum, right? There's not a full, like, this is the right way, that's the right way. It's just a spectrum. So you find someone that's closer, or a family that's closer to where your spectrum is, where it aligns. And again, like, it does take a village, because parenting is beautiful, it's amazing. But you want your kids to have other kids to play around with. You want your kids to learn to be like, not to grow up to be socially awkward. You know what I mean? Like, and I know it's something that people talk about a lot in terms of like homeschooling circles and things. We desire and we want to homeschool our kids, and that's another thing that is not okay. I'm learning, guys. This is not something I do all the time, and I'm probably, this is like too close down. Well, we'll try to fix it. We'll try to fix it. Didn't realize how hard this would be while talking. I think this is too much. Let's see. You'll see the final look, but I feel like this is too much. I was planning to do a lighter look, but let's see. I'm learning. I am learning. And I'm also learning that you can use your, what is this called? Blush as an eyeshadow-ish, like to make that effect. You know what? I'm just doing what I think I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not sure if I'm doing it correctly, but we're gonna wing it. It's okay. It's okay. Where was I? So yeah, like picking your village, right? And the things that we are learning are, make sure you know how to communicate with your village. That's key. Make sure you have boundaries, that you are communicating, which goes with communication, with your village. So whatever is a no-no should be a no-no for everyone, right? And I know grandparents have a special spot there. They have a sweet spot, and grandparents, they wouldn't be grandparents if they didn't try to tiptoe around boundaries. They wouldn't be grandparents if they didn't do what they did with their grandbabies, right? Like, give them more sweets than they need, let them watch TV more than they need. That's just grandparent stuff. And they're allowed, because they're not raising their kids. They've raised their kids already. And this is their time to shine. This is their time to be the cool grandparent. This is the time to be the very friendly grandparent. So again, that's different. But honestly, learning to communicate openly and well will save you a lot of heartache, will save you a lot of like confusion with the kids too, because we've noticed that with our daughter, like when we first started having family close by, kids are very smart, okay? So she was like, when me or her dad would say no to things, she would go to her aunt and be like, hey, can I have X, Y, and Z? And her auntie wouldn't know that we had said no already. And she would be like, oh, good, sure, baby. Yeah, no problem. And then it's not something like horrendous, right? It could be like having a second snack, or like having another snack right before dinner. But now what we learned soon after is that, hey, these kids know, they're smart. So we started communicating with everyone that, okay, if they come to you with X, Y, and Z questions about this, refer them back to us. So that way they're not saying yes to something we said no to, or they're not saying no to something we said yes to, right? Or if we're around, we just created this thing where we like do quick eye contact with each other, and they would know. And even between like my husband and I, right? Like, we're very careful. And sometimes we've done it where I had said no and I had promised, I had said yes and I'd promised to something. And then my husband didn't know that I did that. And so then he would say no. And then it'd be this whole thing where my toddler would be like, but mom said yes. And then we would do a quick check in with my husband and I. And it's like, yeah, I said no. I said yes already. So if I said yes to something prior to the no, we're going to stick to the yes, because we're also trying to teach our kids a promise is a promise. A yes is a yes. And a no is also a no. But if my husband had said the first no, and it's a no, right? So learning to communicate with your children. So I know I've gone like a little different places with this conversation, but I really wanted to encourage you that yes, it is amazing to have a village around you. I know I'm still missing mascara, eyeliner, and lipstick, but I'm going to do that later, I think. Now I'm going to get started with my hair. So essentially, I just want to encourage you to learn how to communicate with your village and get your village on the same page as you. That way, you feel like, okay, this is good, this is awesome, this is great. We're all on the same page. And guess what? It gives like such an awesome support system, even for your kid, that everyone, they're not hearing different things from different people, and that could lead them into confusion. And mind you, I'm not like a child psychologist or whatever, but I've just seen things and I've learned things from different people. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. So I encourage you to, if you have your village around you, if you have family and you're fortunate enough to have family around you, start being open with them, start communicating with them, start sharing your vision with them, even like your vision of your family, where you're headed, what you're looking to instill in your children. What's the legacy that you want to leave for your children? It's a legacy of faith. Is it a legacy of, reading books together, a love for family, love for culture? Like my husband and I are an interracial couple, so I mean there's a lot I could be talking about, but essentially we prioritized it in a way that Jesus culture first, so everything Jesus, then educating our kids about, like, yes, you are Canadian, but if you're curious about where mom and dad are from, we're here to educate you. And my daughter loves languages, which I'm like, thank you, Jesus. And I want her to learn all of the languages. Like, I want her to learn my language, my husband's language. Obviously, she speaks English, but I would like for her to learn French too, right? Like, and again, we're not like pushing it on her, but I can already see that inclination towards wanting to learn more, right? So, so Jesus culture, and then awareness of culture of like where her parents are from originally, or like, if we were to take her for vacation, either of our places, would she be able to say hi or thank you in our native languages, right? And then just so she has that like all-rounded understanding of things. And she is Canadian. This is home for her and us, but at the same time, like having that exposure to culture. She loves food, so food, getting introduced to culture through food and things like that, right? So again, we always prioritize Jesus, culture, family, and then like social life and going out with friends, church family, doing things together as a family. And this year we're planning, like coming year, we're planning for more family activities, because she's getting to this age where she's starting to enjoy like the Santa parade, for example, or things like that, right? So openly communicating these things with your village also helps, because they'll either tell you, oh, there's this thing coming up, do you want to take your children there? Or they'll be like, oh, I heard this thing, you would love to read this book, read this book to her. And I've gotten so many great recommendations for books for our kids from our village, which is our chosen village. And yeah, so just like embrace the village around you. If it's your family, embrace your family. Be thankful that you have family around you, because I know a lot of people that are alone somewhere, and they're just, tag teaming with their spouses and raising their kids the best that they can. And if you have chosen family around you, just be sure to be openly communicating and setting boundaries and protecting your kids, and also, making it the best possible outcome for your kids. Of course, God is in control of everything, but do what is in front of you. Do what is in your hands to do. Okay. I hope this kind of resonated with you, and if it did, hit like, subscribe for more similar content, and share with me in the comments, what is it that you're doing? Do you have a village? What do you do with your chosen village or your family village or whatever it is? Like, I now understand when people say, I found my tribe. I get it now as a mom, as, non-mom person. Before I was a mom, it didn't really quite sink in as well. I did have my tribe then too, but it's so important. It's so important as a mom, as parents, to find your village. Okay. All right. If you like this video, hit like, share, and subscribe. Take care.